finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It really is a day-to-day thing. And I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness.
3 straight wins. A championship-caliber team rising without their superstar. The Indiana Fever were proving doubters wrong left and right. They had just taken down top contenders: Dallas, Minnesota, Las Vegas. Even without Caitlin Clark, they were red hot. So when they faced the Los Angeles Sparks, a team sitting at the bottom of the standings, it seemed like a sure thing. But what happened next? It wasn't just an upset. It wasn't just a loss. It was a meltdown of everything fans love about the game. And it left Coach Stephanie White delivering 5 chilling words that exposed a deeper problem inside the league. This wasn't just another game. This was a turning point.
It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So, we just want to make sure that we're...
The Fever weren't just surviving Caitlin Clark's absence, they were thriving. After winning 3 in a row, including a dominant performance in the Commissioner's Cup, they looked more dangerous than ever. Aaliyah Boston was playing like an MVP. Kelsey Mitchell had rediscovered her clutch gene. Natasha Howard brought composure and leadership. They weren't relying on hype or headlines anymore. They were winning games with chemistry, grit, and heart. And it was starting to feel like this team had finally figured out how to win as a unit. Fans were pumped, analysts were confident, and the Sparks? They looked like an easy target.
What to get a team to be more consistent, especially from you on the coaching side of things?
Yeah, I think a couple things. There's always got to be a high attention to knowing personnel.
But even before the ball was tipped, Indiana's momentum took a hit. First, Caitlin Clark was ruled out once again, her 5th consecutive missed game due to a groin injury. The coaching staff emphasized caution, prioritizing her long-term health over short-term risk. Then, Damiris Dantas was unavailable, competing in the FIBA AmeriCup for Brazil. And finally, Dana Evans-Bonner unexpectedly left the team altogether. 3 contributors, gone, just like that. The Fever had to scramble, adjust rotations, shift strategies. But still, Vegas favored them. ESPN gave them a 73% chance to win. And that belief? It would soon be tested like never before.
Oftentimes you don't get a lot of practice time, and so going over a lot of their sets, which you do, but at the end of the day, making sure we know our personnel, who we're going to run off the 3-point line, what we're willing to give up. We've got to make sure that there's a high attention to detail there.
On paper, this game was already over. The Sparks were struggling, dead last in key stats, with only a handful of wins all season. Their offensive output had been inconsistent. Their defense often collapsed under pressure. By all metrics, they were one of the least threatening teams in the league. Indiana, even short-handed, still had 3 experienced stars: Boston, Mitchell, Howard. That should have been enough. Everyone expected another solid Fever performance, one that would keep their playoff push alive. But basketball isn't played on paper. And what unfolded on the court stunned everyone watching.
There's days where you make shots and miss shots. That's part of it. I thought, AB had a really good look at the end. And so sometimes it just doesn't fall your way.
From the opening minutes, the game felt strange. The Fever's pace slowed. The ball wasn't moving with the same sharpness. Boston struggled to get touches inside. Without Clark's floor leadership, the offensive rhythm unraveled. Still, it wasn't panic-worthy. The Sparks weren't blowing them out. Indiana stayed within reach, but the energy was off. Passes were sloppy. Rotations looked rushed. You could feel the tension creeping in, like the team was holding its breath. And then, the whistles started. It began with one bad call, then another, and another. Touch fouls on Indiana defenders. Missed contact on offensive plays. It was hard to ignore and impossible to explain. Aaliyah Boston was called for multiple fouls despite clean contests. Sophie Cunningham got grabbed by the neck, no whistle. Lexi Hull was elbowed and stepped over, still nothing. The refs weren't just missing plays. They were controlling the tempo of the game, and every call felt one-sided. It wasn't physical basketball. It was frustrating basketball, and fans could see it happening in real time.
So we're talking about execution. I didn't feel like our execution was all that good at the end. I felt like in our reset timeout, it wasn't very good either. And that's on us, continuing to make sure that we are going over that, as often as possible.
After the final buzzer, all eyes turned to Fever coach Stephanie White. She looked exhausted, defeated, and angry, not at her players, but at what she had just witnessed. Her response? Just 5 words. We didn't get the calls. No yelling, no excuses. Just a quiet sentence that summed up everything fans saw with their own eyes. Those 5 words weren't an opinion. They were confirmation. The game had been stolen by inconsistency. And from that moment, social media exploded. Despite foul trouble, Boston still put on a clinic. She dropped 23 points, grabbed 12 rebounds, and fought for every inch in the paint. But her rhythm was constantly interrupted by questionable fouls. 3 of her 5 calls, replays showed minimal or no contact. Boston has been battling this issue all season, being officiated more harshly than others at her position. But this game took it to a new level. She couldn't stay on the court without getting punished for simply playing defense. Her impact was massive, but the referees never let her truly take over. In the backcourt, Kelsey Mitchell brought her usual fire. She scored 19 points, hit 3 massive threes, and passed the 250-game mark with the franchise, second only to the legendary Tamika Catchings. Her leadership was evident throughout the game. She was vocal. She was aggressive. She kept pushing the pace, even when things slowed down. But her efforts were drowned in whistles and no calls. This should have been a historic night for her. Instead, it became a footnote in controversy. While the guards struggled and Boston sat with fouls, Natasha Howard kept the team afloat. 21 points, 9 rebounds, efficient shooting from inside and out. She played like a veteran who's seen it all and wasn't going down without a fight. But even she wasn't spared from the chaos. She took contact driving to the rim. No whistle. Got slashed across the arm? Nothing. Her plays were clean, smart, impactful, but the momentum kept being stolen. Every time Indiana fought back, the refs found a way to slow them down. As the game entered its final stretch, everything unraveled. Sophie Cunningham got dragged down again. Still no call. Lexi Hull stared in disbelief after being elbowed. Even the crowd was stunned. And Aaliyah Boston's 5th foul? A clean block, called as a foul. Michaela Onyenware got called twice in a row for simply having her arms up. McDonald was whistled for breathing too close. Meanwhile, Sparks players delivered elbows and shoulder bumps without consequence. It felt less like a game and more like a performance, with the refs as the stars. The Fever's comeback hopes collapsed. Not from effort, but from exhaustion and frustration. If you look only at the scoreboard, it's a disappointing loss. But if you watch the film, you see something else. Resilience, grit, mental toughness. The Fever nearly beat the Sparks while missing 3 major players, and they did it under the weight of unfair officiating. That's not weakness. That's a warning. This team isn't going anywhere. Caitlin Clark's return is close. Reports suggest she's already back in drills, and when she suits up again, this team becomes a completely different animal. Boston in the paint, Clark running point, Mitchell spacing the floor, Howard crashing the glass, Hall and Cunningham bringing fire on both ends. This isn't just a competitive team, it's a playoff threat. And when fully healthy, maybe even more. Their next few games are no joke. Golden State, Atlanta, Dallas, Connecticut, New York. But this stretch might be the perfect chance to reset, rebuild, prove themselves again. Because this group has already survived adversity. And if they can push through this rough patch, they'll come out sharper, stronger, and ready for a serious run. Make no mistake, this team remembers. They remember every bad call, every team that took advantage while they were shorthanded, every disrespectful headline. The Sparks beat them twice this season, but next time, it's going to be personal. The Fever aren't broken. They're building. Every rough game, every injury, every whistle. It's all adding to a fire that's already burning under this young roster. And when the playoffs roll around, That fire might just light the league up. This loss wasn't the end of a streak. It was the beginning of a storm. The WNBA should take notice. The Indiana Fever aren't just a team. They're a problem waiting to explode. And when Caitlin Clark returns, they won't just remember what happened in LA. They'll make sure the whole league remembers them. Like this video if you believe in the Fever. Drop a comment about the officiating. Was it fair or foul?